That poor guy, I feel bad for him, I'll tell you.
Oh, I feel terrible for him. We're back at Sandstown in Las Vegas, Nevada for the final game, the championship game of the Hardees Deluxe Bowling Tournament. Only 2 players left. And John Lay, after a thrilling 200-198 victory over T.W. Edwards, finds himself shooting for $140,000.
Breaks up the split on the first shot.
Yeah, needed a break on that, but he ends up with a 6-pin here in the first. We should set the stage right now, though. Should our top seed, Dale Cordova, lose this first game, we would go into a second game. That's what the top seed has. He has an advantage in this tournament.
Well, that's what the double elimination tournament is all about, Denny. So he really should be almost freewheeling this game because there's not that much pressure on him. And he's done a smart thing, I think, right out of the gate, is he's made John Lay finish on lane 20, where he had more trouble.
You mentioned that. He told me, hey, I want to end this thing in 1 game. I don't want to fool around with having to bowl 2. Very consistent player all week long. Opening shot kind of crosses over a little bit, and he leaves the 4-7.
And we're going to see our first 6-step player, I think. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Short backswing, head steady, ball under control. Probably a very accurate player with that kind of style.
Got to be feeling a little better after converting the 4-7. I asked Tony what his strength was, and he said just that. He said, Denny, I feel like I'm a fairly accurate player. I can repeat shots, and that was a real key this week during the tough conditions.
Certainly was, and both on the left and the right side. I talked to different players. They said it was pretty equal, left to right side.
Well, if you look at the averages throughout the entire field, the lefties averaged about 188, the righties about 184. Playing the outside line, this one comes up nicely, and he dices the rack on lane 19 and sort of serves notice to Mr. Lay that, hey, this is my championship.
I'm the leader here, friend.
Asking for the ball to hook, and it does like him, and miraculously, as the 2-pin was the last to leave.
And we see the side view of John Lay. Hunches those shoulders, comes up at the line, and almost pulls back out of the ball. The ball comes in light, and we've seen the 2-pin come forward several times tonight. Sometimes out of the 2-4-5, and twice for strikes, just like that.
Trying for the first double of the championship game, and a perfect shot for Lay, who answered the call in the early stages.
He says, if I'm going to get a break, I'm going to take advantage of it, just like that. Great shot on lane 19 for him.
6th time that Tony Cordova has participated in this particular event. Last year was his best finish. He's trying to double. Excellent shot. Leads to solid 6. So he's made the adjustment, I would say, on lane 20.
He took 3 of his practice shots. He got 4. He took 3 of them on the right lane. He went high twice and then got a strike and then went over to the left lane. So if he's struggling at all, it's a little bit on this lane 20.
Appears to be pretty well locked in. I like his composure here for a man who's trying to bowl for $140,000.
He seems very poised and very calm.
Out of Pueblo, Colorado. 31 years of age. Parents on hand. A large contingent from Colorado down to watch him play. The light hit leaves the 3-6 on the left-hand lane.
It's just not quite as good a hand release as he had back in the second frame on that lane. That's why that ball didn't make it up.
Trying to relax a little bit, find some oxygen.
Relax so you can get that thumb out clean and lift with the fingers.
In the 4th for Dale Cordova, who now trails by 12, and with a strike here in the fourth, Lay could take a 22-pin lead.
Well, we've seen Lay before. We know that he's going to make some erratic shots.
Shoulders wide open. Just to turn and twist on it. This one sails by the pocket, narrowly averting the washout, leaves the 1-2-8.
He's knocked that washout out before, primarily in the 10th frame last game.
I'll tell you the interesting thing about Lay, though, is that he's an excellent spare shooter.
Well, he's proved that. He's consistently made the spares in his matches tonight. Well, I put the jinx on him, didn't I? That ended that. Suddenly he goes three pins behind.
First mistake of the championship game for John Lay, who now trails by 3. Of course, all of this exciting action on the Freedom Sports Network, the Hardees Deluxe Bowling Tournament from Sam's Town in Las Vegas.
Light again. And a 2-4-10. 2 bad frames in a row. He's going to fall quite a bit behind unless he can convert this. Then he's got to get the ball left of the 2-pin and slide it over in the 10. Odds, I would say, in the range of about 5 or 6 to 1.
Struggling now on the championship pair of 19 and 20 after bowling a superb game in the semifinal. Tries to get a run and takes out the 4-pin, and that's it. So back-to-back opens for John Lay. And now it's a 15-pin advantage for Dale Cordova as he enters the 5th frame.
Boy, and if anything was going to loosen up his swing, a couple open frames by his opponent should do it. Gives it right back, Denny. That's going to even the match. And it's absolutely going to make it a 1-pin match with 9 out as he gets the 4-6-10 right through the heart of the pins. He's fighting to stay off the nose on lane 20 and having a little bit of trouble getting the ball up on lane 19.
You could see him toweling off after that shot. Just wondering if the perspiration's beginning to bother him a little bit.
Well, it's not perspiration from the lights down there, Dan. It's not that hot. I was out there before. It may be perspiration from 140,000 slipping away from you, but
excellent crowd on hand, and this is a 1-pin match at the halfway point of the championship game.
they're both shooting in the 180 bracket.
This one sails by to the left, so Cordova right now struggling.
And it's so unnerving when you've got a pair of lanes where one lane appears to be hooking and the other one appears to be slick, and you think, why could I throw that shot on the other lane and it struck, and vice versa, and then you start thinking bad and start executing bad. He's got a tough spare here. 1-3-6-9. Just enough.
A sigh of relief for 31-year-old Dale Cordova. Now for John Lay. Out of St. Charles, Missouri, it's time to shift into high gear.
Well, he gave the match to Cordova, and Cordova said he didn't want it.
This is Brooklyn. The Brooklyn hits have carried here this evening as there you see John's girlfriend Denise Wilson and his sponsor Bob Pointer. They're obviously concerned with the outcome of this title match.
Yes.
Well, there's spiritual support, and then of course you're looking at the monetary sanctions as well.
Down by 1. Take the lead with a double. Light. And shakes it up.
Key double, and now Lay leads by 9. Keep in mind, in case you've just joined us, if Dale Cordova loses this game in the top seed position, they'll come back and bowl one more. It's a double elimination event.
See what kind of an adjustment he makes on this right lane. High again. Didn't get it over to the Brooklyn side. Leaves only the 7-pin, falls 10 pins behind, still in the match.
Well, Dale won 9 consecutive games just to get here. Average 217 en route. Of course, his opponents averaged only 169, so it wasn't as tough a week for him as it might have been for the other players to get to the telecast as he converts the 7-pin. His parents, Tony and Shirley, looking on, thoughtfully so.
I find it so interesting now that when we're doing these telecasts and they show the parents, they're the ones that I identify with and not the bowlers anymore. Because they're closer to my age, usually.
I was going to let you say that, Mike.
I'm appreciative of that.
Okay. Cordova trying to get back on track, and one of the better shots in the last 4 or 5 frames, but this time he leaves the half 7.
1 strike, so he's been able to manage so far, and this is the 8th frame. You just don't win $140,000 usually with 1 strike.
Not unless the roof caves in.
Careful, we're close to California here.
Yep. Never know about those aftershocks. Logan does best, make the stairs, trails by 11 as we enter the latter stages here. 8th frame. Plenty of loft. Is there enough roll? Ooh, the 2-pin had a notion. Flapping in the breeze, but doesn't go down.
He stripped that 2-pin forward a couple times, and I tried to do it a 3rd. That's going to make it a 10-pin match if he makes it.
It's like a 25-foot fall-away jumper. Last moment, the 2-pin just tickled that 2, and it wouldn't go down. Hard and straight right at it, so John Lay with a spare up in the 8th continues to lead by 10.
Looking up at the score, 9th frame action. He knows that if he strikes out, he can't lose this match. But he also knows that Dale Cordova didn't win 9 games in a row by not failing to strike in 9th and 10th frame action. So we'll see what happens.
Good hit on that shot. He liked it the moment it left his fingertips. And so an excellent shot in the 9th frame for Lay, the foundation frame.
If Cordova's going to do it, he better start now.
Possible 202 if he takes it off the sheet.
Best shot of the match so far right there. That keeps it within 10 pins. 1 here in the 10th frame, and we can even the match.
Pressure would swing back then to John Lay.
Boy, I don't know what pressure like this would be like. Just 1 shot for 70 grand right here.
Didn't waste any time throwing it, and it goes by the pocket. So John Lay, gazing up at the electronic scoreboard, realizes that he still has life, and this may very well go into game number 2.
And the follow-through went dead right on that one, Denny. He just tried to steer it up to the pocket and just never got out of that thumb clean, and the result was the 3-5-9. Tough spare, not easy at all. Has to make it to keep his hopes alive. He can still win it, Dan. He needs 9 pins or better to force John Lay to mark.
Tony scanning the board at this point, realizing that that's what he needs. Pretty cool customer for all this cash.
Will it be enough?
Well, do you think you could walk up and get a mark for 140,000?
Well, it's just right now is to keep from not losing the 70 grand. He doesn't win anything here. He just wins an opportunity to bowl the next game. He goes quickly.
Hit it hard, and just like he did in the semi-final game, threw a heck of a shot. Bit of a bad break there as he leaves the 7-pin.
Well, he doesn't waste any time. He goes faster than he can think. Sometimes he's trying to beat his mind to the line. Switches balls. Just enough.
Well,
he needs one, Denny.
No problem.
Think you can handle
Oh,
that?
are you kidding me? No problem. I'd stand up there and aim for about 13 board. Try and give it a little roll. Nothing special. Solid 4-pin. Nice effort for John Lay, who qualifies number 3 for this event, wins the semifinal game, then wins game number 1 of the championship match. And now, of course, will be forced into the sudden death game here at Sam's Town in Las Vegas for $140,000 in first place prize money.
They're probably ready now.
What was the score of that game? 191 to 182. Defeated Tony Cordova. Oh, have I been saying Tony?
It's Dale.
Oh, thanks.
His middle name is Anthony.
Okay, Dale Cordova. I said it one time. All right. Well, there are only 2 left, Michael, and this really is the keeps here as Dale Cordova loses the first game of the championship round, 191 to 182, and he'll now start the final game of the championship.
He's chosen to finish on the right lane. Maybe he figured he found something there in the 9th frame on that lane.
Quickly, and gets the shaker to start, and that's the shot that he needs because the crowd's behind him.
Needs to put some strikes together to put some pressure on this man.
John Lay, though, has risen to the occasion twice already here at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. Carrying the light 2-pin hit. Now he leaves the 1-2-8, misses the head pin completely.
That's a little too light, Denny. You don't carry that one when it misses a head pin.
Now, come on. There was one shot there in about the 7th frame of the first championship game where he barely ticked the head pin.
Right.
And carried the 2.
He missed this in the previous game, and he's in trouble. Clips it going through.
Risky business for Mr. Lay, who spares it up in the first.
Watch the head pin, Dan. It's going to hit the 2, flatten out, and the butt of it is going to clip. No, in fact, the head of it spun all the way around the head, clipped the 8.
Did you see the ball double kiss that head pin? If that hadn't happened, he might have missed it. Second frame, and there's the shaker that has been so successful for Lay here.
Lay's had tremendous success on lane 19. It's 20 that's given him the problems.
What has to be going through your mind now is that no more tomorrow for Dale Cordova.
High. He doesn't carry it. He just won't give the ball room on that lane. And he's chosen to finish on it this time. He gets a little practice on this lane, shooting the 5-pin. The ball's right immediately. And this is simply because he won't trust it. So much easier to trust those spares.
Well, I think that was a confidence-building shot for him there. He obviously made the adjustment on the spare shot and came up to the left side of the 5-pin.
Well, I don't think it's the case of needing to make the adjustment. I think he knows where to throw. It's just a matter of being able to do it under the pressure.
You mean the body is willing, but the mind is not?
Well, something like that. I've been through that a number of times.
Sliding by, and the washout is left, and a possible first open here in the final game of the Hardees Deluxe Bowling Tournament Championship game could go to Dale Cordova.
136 to 137 now. To the right of the head pin. Ooh, and right around. What a bad break.
Terrific shot for Cordova, who could not believe that he didn't take out the 7.
The headpin wraps right around the 7 pin. He covered it seemingly perfectly, and the headpin just missed the 7. And Lay can take a commanding lead. He, again, for the 3rd time, breaks out that washout. It's that deep inside angle. The ball's not finishing that hard, so it gets that 10 pin out of there. Going to see it slide by the head pin again. Turn very late, and the 6 pin gets the 10. Covers the 1-2, keeps his 15-pin lead as we head to the 4th frame.
Lay defeated Cordova in the opening game of the championship round, 191 to 182 in a close contest. If he wins this one, he is $140,000 richer. Kind of has a nice sound to it, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Lots of bowling left, though, here.
Four pin, nice shot again. He just is so confident on lane 19, and he gets to finish there in the 10th frame if it's going to come down to the 10th frame.
He does have an aggressive approach to the game.
Very aggressive. It takes very little time. I mean, he just gets up there and says, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and if they go, they go. If they don't, they don't.
Mark Roth School of Bowling. That used to tell me, if you haven't figured it out by the time you've gotten up on the approach, it isn't going to happen then.
I don't think Dale's figured it out. I mean,
well, let's see if he does here on lane 20, the right-hand lane. This has been the problem for him. Better speed.
He gets a good break, knocking out both the 8 and the 7 there, leaving only the 2 and the 4. He gave that one more room, but it just still hooked high. He's got to, then he's either got to take a chance here and make another move with his feet, 2 or 3 boards, or he's got to project that target further down the lane, something to change here. Double there.
I think he was very surprised at how much that ball hooked. Looked back at his dad, Tony, and kind of raised the eyebrows like, what the heck's going on out here?
There's his dad, Tony, looking on. Boy, you see the resemblance, can't you?
5th frame action. Down by 14.
He's just totally lost. Missed in the head pin on 19, going Brooklyn on lane 20. He just can't get the ball to the 1-2 pocket at all.
And time is running out. Pressure has to be on the player who comes to the championship game. Top seed is obviously in the right spot, but the moment the top seed loses, I think the pressure is on him in game number 2.
Especially when you get out behind. I mean, it just seems like everything that bad could happen is happening.
Tighter angles. And the 2-pin gets the wraparound action, but stands tall. 16-pin lead right now for the St. Charles, Missouri native, who is a big St. Louis Blues fan. Loves hockey.
Keeps making the spares and filling the frames and staying ahead.
Look at the Lay contingent there, his girlfriend and sponsor. Marvelous tournament here, staged by Buddy Finkelberg and his crew at Sam's Town in Las Vegas.
16 pins difference.
Right back into 1-3. A strike in the 6th. And I would say that right now would probably be the key turning point for Dale Cordova.
He's moved left. He moved left with his feet. There was just more oil left of the first arrow, and it worked.
Well, if that's the case, you better move that right on lane 19.
He's sure going through his mind what to do on lane 19 because he hasn't been able to get the ball up on that lane. Big shot coming up for him. Just such an important shot right now to cut into that lead and get a double.
closer, but not close enough.
No, he just can't get into the pocket, Danny. He's got to make the spare, keep himself in the match. 16 pins difference. His dad knows. Boy, you can see the anxiety on that face.
And you can feel it in the pit of your stomach right now. $70,000 difference between first and second.
For the double. Boy, he's gotten every good break. He misses the head pin and breaks up the washout, goes through the nose and leaves only 9. And when you're a winner, those kind of things happen.
And you are very much aware of sometimes when you get into the championship round, fate has a lot to do with what happens.
Well, it just Providence does seem to determine some of these things.
Lay appeared to be a bowler of destiny here at Sam's Town because he's thrown a number of errant shots through the nose, and other than a split or two here and there, and the better stage of 4 games of bowling, he's come out scot-free.
3 frames to go. 16 pins difference. This is his good lane.
Wants to set up a strike here. Possible, and he does. Well, he's bowling like a champion.
Running out of frames. Dale takes very little time.
He pulled it from the moment it left his hand, leaves the 2-pin, and it's now a 17-pin differential between Dale Cordova and John Lay. This is the type of game that most of the matches throughout the week. Make your spares, maybe catch a double here or there. That was enough to win.
Well, if he's going to do it, he's got 2 frames left in which to do it, and he needs to set himself up for the 10th frame to give himself any kind of chance. Can't get it up the hill on lane 19 and can't keep it off the nose on lane 20.
Bad combination if you're a top seed. Well, with a spare and then striking out, he could shoot 190.
So he has to hope that John Lay opens and that he can double.
Slim hopes. First things first. Pick up the spare. 18-pin lead for John Lay of St. Charles, Missouri, as he enters the 9th frame. Gave that a little extra polish, and he strikes. Oh, what a shot into that.
That's a winner, Dan. That's a winner right there. I mean, he can open in the 10th frame as long as the count is not too bad and still come out a winner here. So basically, he just needs to make a halfway decent shot here, get a decent count. 7, 8 pins, and he's going to have enough. As we see the replay, what a tremendous shot in the 9th frame.
Crunching shot for Lay, who hands up and rips it at this point. It doesn't make any difference. So John Lay shakes his head, and
well, if he would get 8 out, let's see, that would give him 183, 191. That's all he needs. He needs 1 pin. He needs 1 of these 3.
Right now, he's thinking, I'll just take the spare. I won't worry about anything else. 1 pin and it's over. And 2 is more than enough. So John Lay of St. Charles, Missouri wins the Hardees Deluxe Bowling Tournament at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. And he'll collect $140,000 in first place prize money. Let's see. Where's my stuff here that I have written down? Well, what now? Okay, why don't you tell me before we even get down there what we're going to do here? Just a normal. Did you know that? Okay. Out the door. Okay, now Buddy told me that he is going to bring his wife out as well now too. Who's the guy from Hardees? There we go. Representing Hardees. Okay. See you out there, Kent. For the opening game of the Hardees Deluxe Bowling Tournament featuring Christian Greisert of West Germany and Mike Logan. And Christian will start on the right-hand lane. Championship pair this week. Mike Durbin, lanes 19 and 20.
And we seem to have some discrepancy right off the bat of who's supposed to be bowling on which lane. Christian was going to start on the right lane, and in match play, Denny, the leadoff bowler always bowls on the odd lane. Not that he's odd, it's just the left lane.
Okay, of course, National Tournament Director Frank Ellenberg straightening out Christian, who doesn't waste any time. Mike Durbin just going up there and tossing himself a strike.
He says, I'd rather bowl on this lane anyway, you know.
Obviously doesn't have a favorite. First good look at Mike Logan, a 29-year-old right-hander out of Huntsville, Texas.
Whenever I think of Huntsville, I think of Jimmy Certain in Huntsville, Alabama. I didn't know there was a Huntsville, Texas also. Should know that there's everything in the state of Texas.
Deliberate player, tries to keep every shot in play. This one slides past. Should have left the 2-4-5, gets a bad break, and the 2-pin falls. Now he's left with just the 4-5.
And the head pin goes to the sideboard and usually does some damage. This time it did bad damage to Mike Logan. Now he's got to put it right between the 4 and 5. And the ball will fit between those two pins and make the split.
Does he make the adjustment, Michael, off his strike shot?
I would. I would. I don't know how he'll do it. And not quite. Mike, a big, tall player, holds the ball up very, very high there, all the way back to the end of the approach. 5 steps, takes it now, pushes the ball away. Perfect timing right there. Head steady. Look at that timing. Nice slide. Really stretches out there. He's got nice form, didn't he?
This point in time now trails by 11 early on in the match after the open in the first frame.
High this time. Brooklyn. And leaves the 5 pin. He adjusted for the 2-4-5.
I was just going to say, is that the classic over adjustment where you say, oh, boy, I don't want to send it a little right. If I do, I'm liable to leave the 4-5 again?
And what happens is you drop that right shoulder, the ball gets set left, and here it goes left.
With just the 5 remaining, though, gives him an opportunity to actually throw a strike shot here.
And practice a little bit, but don't want to practice too much and miss it. He's got it.
All right, so a spare up in the second for Mike Logan. And we're told that Christian is a postman over in West Germany.
Wonder how he got the time off to come over and do this. Vacation time, I guess, huh?
As a matter of fact, traveled over here with 5 other friends, and all of them bowled in the tournament this week. Inside, tries to belly it out, and he leaves the 2-4-5.
Right lane appears to be a little bit tighter than the left lane. Christian stands in the exact same place as Mike does and holds the ball, but watch, he's going to take only 4 steps down. Moves the ball before his step, but now they go right together at the same time. A little bit early in the timing, so his feet have to move fast to catch up, and he opens that shoulder up, lets the ball go on the slide.
Right at the 2-5, and no problem with that. When you see that shoulder open and the wrist open, reminds you a little bit about Leto Monticelli.
Yes, it does. Well, he doesn't quite hook the ball as much as him. He hasn't got that lawnmower start release that Amleto has.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what, Amleto probably covers about another 25 boards. Christian now in the third frame and leading by 11 pins.
Been a lot of those this weekend.
A little crossover shot for Christian, so he strikes in the third.
I wonder what they call it in Berlin. Is it go from an East Berlin to a West Berlin strike?
Oh, Michael, you're going to have to get political on us now as well.
Well, I just wonder.
All right,
I mean, do they call it a Brooklyn over there? I mean,
it's either an East Berlin or a West Berlin. Of course, you never threw an East or a West Berlin in your career.
hey, I relied on. When in doubt, go to East Berlin.
Early on in match number 1, Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas. And an excellent shot for Mike Logan of Huntsville, Texas, who decides to tighten this match up a little bit. Still trails by 11 pins.
And he can tighten it up a lot more with one more double here. Be interesting to see where this one goes. I mean, the first one almost missed the headpin on the left, and he made the spare.
All right, in assessing his game, I'm going to say that this ball will end up in the 1-3 pocket. Whether or not he strikes, I don't know, but I think he's a pretty solid player.
How about that?
Well, I just had a sense that he might come back and double. You don't get to the final 5 in this event unless you're a clutch player.
And unless you're not afraid of being behind in a match either, you know, that doesn't bother you.
Greisert now in the 4th and trailing by a pin here in the opening match.
Working on a strike. Just doesn't make it up on lane 20. Leaves a more difficult spare this time, the 2-8.
All right, how do you handle this, Michael?
Personally, the way I used to handle it was move 5-6 boards right on the approach and use my strike line to get the ball over to cover that back pin. The ball has to hit both pins.
Pair seems to be tightening up a little bit as the championship round continues.
Christian playing the deep inside line. He's going to play this spare probably right down the middle arrow. And
very solid spare shooter as he converts the tough 2-8 and continues to lead in this match by a single pin.
And that was the difference this week, Denny, between the players that won the matches and the ones that lost. Is nobody got a lot of strikes right away. It's the ones that could make those spares consistently and keep the games clean.
Little doctoring of the tape in the thumb hole. Welcome back, everyone. We're in the 5th frame of the opening game. Christian Greisert of West Germany leading by a single pin. Needs to hook a little bit, and it does as he slashes the rack from that deep inside angle.
The old tickler. Those thin hits where the headpin goes to the sideboard, cleans out the 4-5-7. Mike wiping the lane conditioner off the ball.
Obviously, there's some of it out there here.
This is take the lead for the first time in the match.
Logan works now in the 5th on a double. Trying to take the lead for the first time here this afternoon. Stands up on it a little bit and throws an excellent shot and leaves the solid 10.
And amazing. It was a good shot, 10. Just didn't quite have the roll that the previous 2 shots. Watch your 6-pin. Second from the right. It really didn't even get close to the 10. Just a whistle around it. That's what we call the STP.
Go ahead.
Solid 10.
I know one thing. With his speed, he would probably be an all-time winner in the Peterson Classic. Or maybe in the old lacquer conditions where he used to whistle it up the track. This kid can throw hard and straight.
Can he make a spin? Yep. You know there's going to be hard enough with that one.
Was there ever a doubt?
Never.
Well, it's a 2-pin match at this stage.
Halfway through.
Logan on the left-hand lane. Championship round pair here at Samstown this week. Lanes 19 and 20. Mike Logan trailing by 2 pins.
Another solid 10.
Yes. see him soften up a little bit with that shot?
Yeah, it wasn't quite as firm or as hard as the last one. That appeared to have more roll, and I thought it would knock the 10-pin out of there.
Just 29 years of age.
Remember when you were 29, Dan?
Of course. Wasn't that long ago.
It was for me.
I was going to say, you have no concept of what was happening when you were 29. I think Kennedy was in the White House, wasn't he?
29?
Our director, Ken Saylor, said, no, I think it was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
No, it wasn't Eisenhower. No.
Does Herbert Hoover ring a bell? It is a very close match here at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. Christian Greisert of West Germany leads by 3 pins as he stands up now in the 6th, and he's working on a strike.